Good Friday evening to you and welcome to Closing Arguments. I'm Julie Grant, in tonight for Vinnie Politan. We begin this evening with some breaking news out of New York State, where a woman who has accused Governor Andrew Cuomo of groping her at the governor's mansion has made a formal complaint against him. This is the first known instance where an accuser has made an official report with a criminal complaint with a law enforcement agency. Now, earlier this week, the New York State Attorney General's office releasing the results of an independent investigation into allegations of sexual misconduct by Governor Cuomo. And that investigation found he violated both state and federal law, sexually harassing 11 women, and that he worked to retaliate against one of those accusers.
The independent investigation found that Governor Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, many of whom were young women, by engaging in unwanted groping, kisses, hugging, and by making inappropriate comments.
Now, Governor Cuomo has denied the allegations. Following the Attorney General's press conference, Cuomo posted this video you're about to see to his official Twitter page.
First, I want you to know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances. I am 63 years old. I've lived my entire adult life in public view. That is just not who I am, and that's not who I have ever been.
Cuomo's attorney is addressing the allegations during a press conference today. One of those attorneys, Rita Glavin, stated the investigation was, quote, conducted in a manner to support a predetermined narrative, end quote.
I'm a former federal prosecutor, and I know the difference between putting a case together against a target versus doing independent fact-finding with an open mind. And there has been no open-minded fact-finding in this case. The investigation was conducted to support a predetermined narrative.
I want to be very clear here. Governor Cuomo has not been charged with any crimes, but I can tell you that a formal complaint is often the first step toward a criminal investigation commencing. So let's bring in our think tank now to see what they think about all of this. Joining us tonight in New York, former senior homicide prosecutor Bernarda Villalona is with us. In Cleveland, Ohio, criminal defense attorney and law professor at Cleveland State, Ian Friedman is also with us. And in San Diego, California, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Brian Watkins, who you can contact at brianwatkinslaw.com. It is wonderful to see the three of you on Closing Arguments tonight. Bernarda, I'd like to begin with you first, if I may, please, and really tap into your experience serving as a New York prosecutor. So what I want to know is, we know this investigation was done by the Attorney General's office, and we know that it was a very lengthy investigation, which found that the governor has violated both state and federal law. Under state law, the question I have for you, please, if we were to accept the facts as true, just for the sake of our analysis tonight, what charges could Governor Cuomo possibly be facing in New York?
Yes, Julie. So if we were to accept the facts as true and to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, then the charges that Governor Cuomo would be facing are 2 misdemeanor charges at least, and that would be for forcible touching as well as sexual abuse in the 3rd degree. So both of those counts, they are misdemeanors. The forcible touching, all that it requires is that the person touch the intimate sexual part of another person with the intent for sexual gratification or any other reason without that person's consent. That would be a Class A misdemeanor. And what we're talking about there is the allegation that Governor Cuomo supposedly cut the breast of Executive Assistant number 1, because we do not know her name. In regards to the second charge of sexual abuse in the 3rd degree, all it requires is that the person subjected a person to sexual contact without consent. And this could be for the groping, for the touching, for the attempting to kiss that so-called female or females. So those are at least the 2 charges that Governor Cuomo can face. Will he face it? We're not sure. We're dealing with various different counties. And also got to remember that the report that the Attorney General Letitia James gave, it did not state that they looked at it in terms of proving it beyond a reasonable doubt, but rather that their investigation concluded, and that is what they found. So it's going to be up to each independent prosecutor to determine whether they should charge Governor Cuomo and whether they should proceed with a criminal complaint against Governor Cuomo.
Bernarda, thank you so much for that excellent explanation of those two charges that could potentially be something charged for if law enforcement feels that the facts warrant it. I want to go to you next, please, Ian, on this one. With the Attorney General's announcement the other day, she was very clear that she found that there was the violation of both state and federal law and that she believed these accusers. But she made it clear that no criminal referral was taking place. And by that, I mean it wasn't being sent to any other agency. But she said any agency may use the results of their investigation as part of whatever they do in determining whether charging may be appropriate. I want to ask you, did you find that odd that if laws were found to be broken, that no criminal referral would be made? Tell me why or why not, please.
Yeah, so I don't find that unusual. They're doing kind of a comprehensive investigation. They were looking for violations that would have affected office. You know, Bernarda brought up a good point, not looking at it necessarily through the lens of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But now the prosecutors in the different jurisdictions where these actions are alleged to have happened, they can take those. They can use that evidence in whole or in part to determine whether or not they feel they can make their case in the criminal arena. You know, again, proof beyond a reasonable doubt. This is kind of the way that it's done. I see this, you know, rather often. And these local jurisdictions look to the larger investigations sometimes of the AG's office, get all of that information, let them do kind of the heavy lifting, take it from there, and that will help them make a decision.
Ian, thank you so much for all of that. Last but certainly not least, criminal defense attorney Brian Watkins, you are no stranger to high-profile cases. We've watched you in action here on Court TV. You defended Kellen Winslow II. Tell me, I want to tap into your criminal defense attorney experience here. Surely Andrew Cuomo and his attorneys have looked through that 168-page report very carefully. They're well aware of what's going on. They were aware that this report was made today, you know, to law enforcement in Albany. So certainly he is aware. Certainly, I'm sure he has counsel, even though he has not been charged yet. Tell me, let's just say you're tasked with representing him in a situation like this at this juncture. What advice would you have for him, please?
Well, first thing that we have to do is evaluate the case. I would love to take a look at the report and want to start taking that thing apart piece by piece. Because as many pages as they claim it is, basically it's nothing but an 11-page report where it's 11 statements from 11 people saying, this happened to me, he came and he did this to me. When you talk about this deep investigation, it gives people the impression that some sort of CSI, scientific evidence, has proven that these actions happened. The truth of the matter is there is no proof that this happened. There's 11 people's word that says, yes, when I came in contact with Governor Cuomo, he did X, Y, or Z to me. It's all it is statements from people who experienced it. Maybe those people told their friends, but the bottom line here, it all comes back to the victim just saying that it happened. There's no additional evidence to corroborate it. And when you look at it, you know, one of the victims claims that he sees me at a business function. He walks over to me and hugs me and he has an erection. Now, science would kind of show you that a 63-year-old man cannot turn around, see someone at a business venture, walk over to them and hug her with an erection. And I just go to the logic behind these things. So that's how we would approach it. You know, it all boils down to these women saying that it happened. There's no other evidence to support it.
Great points from you. Brian Watkins, thank you all so much. Let's play another clip now. This is another clip from today's press conference.
The whole world is watching right now. People are not going to be retaliated against by Governor Cuomo. But what we have to be able to do is examine evidence and be able to make a case for our client. Otherwise, to the extent that the Assembly wants to move forward, to the extent they want to move forward with impeachment, you now have an impossible standard for us because we're not given access to the evidence.
And we're not going to talk about impeachment here tonight. We're going to stick to just the facts and the analysis of this criminal complaint that's been made. Bernarda, I want to go back to you, please. We know this was made with the Sheriff's Department in Albany, New York. This woman saying that her breast was groped while she was at the governor's state residence. We know that it's within the statute of limitations, which she's saying. Tell me, what do you think is happening today with that sheriff's office, receiving this information, being well aware of the Attorney General's announcement of the probe findings this week? What do you think they're doing to look into this complaint that's been made?
So, Julie, I just want to start off that all of these sheriff's offices and police departments, as well as district attorney's office, none of them had to wait for Attorney General Letitia James to issue her report or her findings. Each of these offices could have started their own investigation or brought charges if they were going to bring charges against Governor Cuomo before this started this week. But aside from that, what these different departments are doing is that they have to evaluate whether they can prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Because you can't charge someone criminally if you, in good faith, don't believe that you can prove the person's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. So what do they have to look at? They have to look at the statement of the alleged victim, of the alleged complainant. Is there any corroboration? Are there any videos, text messages, emails? Are there photos? Are there any admissions for Governor Cuomo? Are there any outcry witnesses in the sense of when did she first report this or say this to anyone else? We know from this executive assistant that this incident allegedly happened in November of 2020. She didn't say anything until I believe it was March of this year. And already during the press conference of Governor Cuomo's attorney, she already brought out 3 points to discredit this alleged complainant in the sense of, one, the statement she already gave that it took place on a certain date and that she was alone. The attorney already said that during that date, there were many people that were already in the mansion that were there. So that's one way to discredit her. A second way they discredit her is that this alleged complainant said that she was sent there to pick up or fix a phone for Governor Cuomo. Already the attorney has said that she was there or sent there to work on a speech and for several other reasons, but nothing happened to do with the phone. The third way they try to discredit her today is that they pulled up her emails of who she spoke to on that day, and at no point in any of those emails did she express any problems or discrepancies that she had with Governor Cuomo on that day. So what the sheriff's office going to look? Can they corroborate? What's her credibility? Can they move forward? And another thing is that the district attorney's office never wants to lose. So they need to balance all that out while also balancing that they're dealing with a public figure as a person that they may look to arrest.
Bernarda Villalona, thank you for that. Ian Friedman, Brian Watkins, thank you both as well.